Did you see that?
We're live.
Okay, here we are, everybody.
Woo!
Great to see you. Just realized I was still holding this lint roller. You're finishing your... if you're finishing checking your email, I'm going to finish lint rolling. Pastor talked about how Adam was formed out of the dust of the earth yesterday, and this is... if you want further proof of that, just wear black. Catch, Dylan. Very nice.
Nice.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
it's
everybody.
The sermon recap with me, Johanna Horseman, and Kirkwood Bullis. And Pastor is on the road. He's heading to Georgia. He's got to speak several times. I talked to him yesterday. You know, he was like, "Oh, my stars! I forgot. I'm going to Georgia to preach. 6 times to
his stars.
However many different conference. Well, anyway, he'll be back soon. But
anyway, he's not here.
He's not here right now. So
you guys get me.
It's Johanna Horseman. What's your title again? Our communications director, and myself. What's my title again? The worship pastor
Extraordinaire. You always forget that last part.
I do. I forget it because it's not real. We've also got Dylan Newton here in the studio. Dylan's here, new worship resident. Make sure you meet him if you have not already. Jared's here.
He's here just because Kirkwood has his interns observe everything he does. They literally just follow him around and watch him.
That's exactly right. Just like the theologians of old. Who was the one guy that had people following him around?
I'm going to go ahead and say I don't know.
No, well, of course it was
Jesus.
Okay,
Good
fine.
answer.
I've discipled him too well already. It started with an O. I'll think of it later.
I do feel like I need to correct something. There was something on the internet this morning about me when I woke up. That is not true.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Already. And
that is that I was celebrating my 14th anniversary at Valleydale. That is not 14th.
True. That's a couple years too many. Yeah, so it's 10. When?
And really, it'll be in September. So
okay.
I don't know. LinkedIn has
something's going wrong.
Yes, but I went and looked.
I didn't know you were on LinkedIn that often.
It sends me notifications.
Oh, I see.
And people were like saying happy work anniversary, and I was like, so I went and looked. For some reason, they combined my work history at First Baptist Covington and here, and said that I'd been here 14 years.
Well, congratulations either way on 10 years.
So
that's
that
a big
huge
deal.
bonus that you get for 14 years, I'm not due that just yet.
You're going to turn that down?
Yeah.
All right.
I want to make sure that you were not cutting that
Get
check
those numbers on the desk, Jeff.
I have some numbers.
You do have okay. So this, all right. So
I have some numbers.
Well, we'll try to do something to celebrate your 10th work anniversary next month. We won't worry about it.
I'm going to celebrate it by going on a sabbatical. How about that?
That's true. Johanna Horstman going on when does that sabbatical start?
September 22nd. It did not start last week when I was at the beach. Again, see, false information. I had several people say, "How's your sabbatical? Are you on sabbatical?" Sabbatical.
It's separate.
No, I was just on a little beach trip.
You were there because you were there with your mom and your daughters and your nieces, and it looked really cute.
We had a lot of fun.
It did look like a lot of fun. It made me pine for going to we're going to go in like 3 weeks or something like that.
The beach is the best.
Indeed. So I don't know if we'll get to talking about yesterday here soon, Promotion Sunday, et cetera. But you had something. You had some current events that you wanted us to address
the Olympics
today.
wrapped up yesterday.
They did. Yesterday was the last day. I'm told the closing ceremonies. I watched the 2-minute clip of Tom Cruise base jumping into the stadium. Did you hear about this?
So glad I did not see that.
I just can't help but like Tom Cruise. I'm not a big fan of the Scientology, what with it being a heretical cult.
I'm not a big fan of that.
But with Tom Cruise, him jumping off into the stadium and you know why he did that?
Because he's Tom Cruise.
Because that really is the answer. But it's because they're already handing off the Olympic flag to Los Angeles in 2028. So should the Lord tarry, and should there be a country in 2028.
And should Snoop Dogg remain among the living?
Yes, well, he quit smoking, so there's good there's good prognosis. I thought he did.
He says he did, really?
He says he did. There's a good prognosis for Snoop Dogg. If there's nothing else you take away from this, Just remember, he'll probably be with us 4 years from now. Anyway, the Olympics are going to be in Los Angeles in 2028. So they've handed it off, all the Hollywood production, that sort of thing. It's come to an end. And I hope that you're about to announce that the United States won the Olympics. Please tell me that we won the Olympics.
Are we talking about medal count?
I thought that's how you determine whether you won
Yes.
the Olympics.
I mean, you could say attitude, like perseverance.
Who gives a rip about that stuff?
Overcoming the odds.
Show me the medals.
Blah, blah, blah. We did have the most medals.
Did we win in golds as well?
We did not.
Did we lose?
We did not.
We tied.
We tied.
With China?
We did.
I felt it.
We did.
So, so we tied with China for golds, but we
With
had the most
40.
medals overall.
Yes, and then we had 44 silver, 42 bronze for a total of
126?
Yes. Did you see it?
No.
You really just
I
did
just
the
did
math
the
that
math.
fast?
Come on, I was
I didn't even know
homeschooled.
you
I
were
could do
listening
this.
that well. I'm impressed.
Neither did I. It was a little bit of a stab. Here's what I'm trying to say. There are people out there that say you can't win the Olympics.
But we do it. all
That's the
time.
thing. Those people out there are losers.
USA.
You're a loser.
USA. Come on, Dylan.
USA.
USA.
USA. Yes. All four of us here in the studio chanting USA.
As a matter of fact, according to this stat, and this was on BBC that I found this information, because
Okay.
sometimes you say, where did you find that? I made sure I made note
We
this
need to be
time.
properly sourced on this podcast.
The United States topped the medal table, typo BBC, for the 7th time in 8 Olympic Games. At all 8, they have won the most overall medals.
So in the last 8 Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, good for us.
Good for us.
Good for us.
Way to
And
go, guys.
I feel strongly that we will probably top the medal count in 2028 as well. What with the home field advantage and that sort of thing. What was your favorite Olympic sport to watch this time around?
That is a little tough because Ken really branched out. Like, we just kind of watched whatever was on.
Yeah. Oh,
So
okay.
there were a lot of
for
things
it.
that were not my favorite. I'll say that. Always enjoy the Olympics, and that was fun to watch, especially with Simone coming back
Oh.
after her
It's incredible.
rough time last go around.
She won me back over.
That
I
was
really
a lot of
loved
fun.
it.
I do always like to watch swimming, both whenever it's like super close and then whenever like you get this
Yeah.
frame of a swimmer that's so far ahead of
That
everybody
was
that nobody
Katie
else
this
is
time. Yeah,
crazy.
Katie Ledecky killing it.
And I think will appreciate this. The men's basketball final.
Be still my beating
Really,
heart.
the last quarter, because Steph Curry was amazing to watch.
Transcendent.
It was pretty cool. And I don't, just to be clear, for those of you who think I might be a big B-baller, I don't watch a lot of basketball.
We could tell just from your phrasing that
B-baller.
you're not.
B-baller.
Well, the track team was crazy.
The track
team
team
was
was
killing it.
insane, yes.
Track team
And all of
was-
those people are so beautiful. I saw a lot of
Yeah.
people commenting about that. Like, do you have to like achieve a certain level of
Attractiveness
yes,
to be a track
because
star.
I think maybe the answer is yes.
It is interesting. What we learned with Noah Lyles that like in the track world somehow like they have egos even bigger than the NBA. Like it's somehow these guys. I guess because there's a lot of individualism or whatever.
There you go.
Shout out to Mondo Duplantis, who was the best American I've ever seen compete for Sweden. So thank you for setting that world record for America. We all know where you're actually from. Thank you, Mondo. I did like that guy a lot. I watched that clip so many times of him. He's the last competitor of the entire day in the stadium. And everybody is watching to see if he's going to get this world record in the pole vault. And of course he does it.
He does. And
All
apparently he
eyes
got a
on him.
$100,000 bonus for that too. Did you see that?
Well, yes.
Okay.
And so, but that's the interesting thing because everyone's like, oh, wow, why, he could have gone another 5 to 10 centimeters because he cleared it by so much. And like, why would you do that? He can break that world record like 9 more times, okay? Follow the money, right, Josh Pike?
Amen.
He just walked in. Josh Pike is going to give us an update later on Big Olympics and how everything is conspiring to take over the world or whatever.
So did you hear the controversy-ish about the pool for the swimmers? No, this is
Tell
interesting.
me about this.
It says reports have suggested that the Olympic pool's relatively shallow depth of 7 feet may have slowed down swimmers due to increased turbulence.
Oh, now that is interesting to me because I thought that 9 feet was the standard depth. I thought you had to do that.
Paris does things differently.
Don't they though? Yeah, I had no idea it was that shallow. Okay, well, I guess we're going to see some more world records
exactly.
shattered.
So maybe why we didn't see as many world records.
Do you know where they're doing the swimming in 2028? They're putting it in the Rams Stadium. Did you hear about this, Jared? They're building a Olympic-sized pool basically on top of the field in SoFi Stadium, or else they're going to roll the. I don't know if they're going to roll the field out, but either way, it said it's going to be the biggest swimming venue ever created.
But how deep is it going to be?
That's what I don't know.
I think you need to weigh in on that.
I plan to. I saw one conspiracy theory about how all the world records were broken in China, and a lot of those world records still stand back in 2008 because they shortened the pool by 4 or 5 inches.
Oh, that's helpful.
I thought that was really funny. I don't know if that's actually. It's probably not true, but it's something fun to think about. What else should we talk about Olympics-wise?
So
fun. I've needed this. This is cathartic for me after 3 weeks of Olympics.
So we already mentioned the basketball final game. That really was. It was fun to watch. I must admit.
I love basketball. I can't help it.
Let's talk about the Noah Lyles quote that happened a few years ago. We're all mad about this year.
So Noah Lyles, you probably have seen this. Noah Lyles, the most egotistical sprinter in the games this year, and somehow was able to back it up by winning the men's 100. He became the fastest man in the world. But a couple years ago at the World Championships, he just launched into this tirade about how he's frustrated that when any of the NBA players win a championship, an NBA championship, they call themselves world champions. And Noah Lyles was like, world champions of what? The U.S.? And he was saying that sprinters, those are the real world champions because they actually have international competition.
Okay.
What Jared wants to know my take on. I mean, I all of the best players in the world play in the NBA. They said that there are 61 NBA players that were playing in the Olympic basketball tournament, and I mean, the roster's only 12, right? So you only have 12 of those that are playing for the U.S. So clearly the United States, the NBA, which is in the United States, is the best league in the world. And yes, if you win an NBA championship, you are world champions. And I'm glad we got that matter solved.
Sounds pretty definitive to me.
Feels good. Do you disagree?
I have counter-arguments.
You have I don't want to hear it. All right, let's move on.
It takes too long to explain.
Yeah, that's what I knew. We'll have this offline. You want to do a separate podcast?
Let's just do a sport podcast. I've been saying this for years.
Okay, sport podcast with me and Jared forthcoming.
All right, so I told you that Ken really forced us to branch out and watch almost all of the things. I watched breakdancing, and I was just like...
I watched a little bit.
Is that good? I don't know. I like that guy's outfit better than that guy's outfit, though. Kind of like the way I watch most sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what is up with the track cycling sprint?
Yes. That is a question that will probably remain unanswerable.
So you watched it, and you know why I'm asking this.
I watched a few, and they start on different sides of the track.
No.
Oh, they don't?
No. Not what I said. So what I watched was the sprint.
Uh-huh.
And it's 3 laps.
Uh-huh.
But they start kind of like this. So they're staggered, but they're right by each other. Like the first 2 laps, I'm not making this up. We watched several. I Googled. I tried to I listened to what the announcers were saying.
Right.
Still don't know what's happening. 3 laps, they start staggered on the same side, and the guy in the front is just kind of like cycling slowly and like watching the guy behind him for the first 2 laps, and then they like go really fast for the last lap. It's like, why are you not racing all 3 laps? I still don't understand.
Pacing themselves.
I don't understand it either.
Okay.
I was watching the whole thing, and I was like, how do you even get into this sport? I've never seen one of those tracks before in all my years.
When they start, they have to have
before
they start, they have to have someone standing there like holding them on their back.
Right. It's like
I told you it's almost like you know with parents are teaching. Okay, now I'm gonna hold you, and then
wait
when
for
I
the
let
beep,
go,
honey, and then you can start pedaling.
Start slowly, like it's what they do for the first 2
slow
laps.
Don't hurt yourself. Go slow for the first 2 laps.
I know this is my ignorance, so if anyone's watching and actually wants to enlighten me, I genuinely would like to know what is happening there.
Like the rest of the things that we've said so far on this pod, I think you're unequivocally right. All of the other sports, almost all the other sports, swimming, you jump into a pool like, yeah, I know you have to learn how to swim, but it just feels so natural. You don't really need equipment. You just go for it. Sprinting, just go. You just run. Who can run the fastest? and the farthest. Great. That's just such a pure sport. This cycling, it's like, well, you got to have a bike. Okay, I got a bike. No, that's not the right kind of bike.
You can't have a kickstand.
Also, you have to wear the tightest painted on leotard you can find. Okay, no, I've got that. I'm good. No, you're not good because you don't have a bullet helmet with a visor that's this. And I'm just and like, okay, now I'm ready. No, you're not, because you've got to go find one of these tracks which doesn't exist anywhere. Man, I feel like I should be on First Take right now. This is hot stuff. Jared, are you gonna get this and cut all this out?
I would say you need to be on First Take or like sitting around a table at Cracker Barrel right now.
That's where I need to be. I want to be playing checkers.
All of the other men of your age.
Stop doing this and go right now.
Yeah, let's go to Cracker Barrel. Get me.
Bye, guys.
Studio to let's just do a live from Cracker Barrel.
Get me a you know, like a trucker hat, a flannel shirt. I need to be playing checkers while I'm giving this take, drinking coffee. Okay.
All right, so very quickly, probably the
you.
most important discussion we can have, favorite meme from the Olympics, because there were so
There
many.
were
It was
so
one,
many good
honestly,
ones.
one of my favorite parts of the Olympics.
So
we were
many
all
good
kind of
ones.
distracted for a couple of weeks. People were being very funny.
Yeah, it
so
was
what
good.
do you have a favorite?
I have so many. I would
hear.
have to give like a top 5.
Give me a top 3.
Well, okay, so one was, I said this to the team yesterday, the whole meme about how everybody hates America until, everyone in America hates America until America comes, and then it's like, you know, you're holding a flag, wearing an old Uncle Sam suit. So that was one. Another one, this is maybe a deep cut, but the whole thing of it's that double video of like the old gymnastics versus the current gymnastics. Like this is, and one of the ones I saw, this is what was expected of pastors in the 1960s, and then this is what is expected of or parents. You know, this is what having kids, trying to make a newborn sleep. Oh, you haven't seen it? So that was good. But of course, I know you're going to give us some other ones, but the GOAT was the Turkish shooter guy. I mean, come on.
Yusuf Dikic.
Oh, is that his name?
Yes.
Just
so amazing.
it became such a meme that even people in the Olympics were using it as a celebration.
Yes, including your guy you just talked about, the
Noah
pole
Lyles.
vaulter. No,
Oh yeah, Duplantis. Yeah, he went up there. Gosh, I love that kid. He's only a kid. He's like 24. So anyway, that's my top 3. You give me a couple more.
So the Turkish shooter is my top,
Yeah, it's
because what
incredible.
people were doing with that, incredible.
Did you see
so
the anime remixes? Those were so good. I need to show you the anime picture that they made. It's so funny.
And then pommel horse guy that came out
Yes.
fairly early on,
Yes.
amazing, of him just sitting with his glasses on, sleeping while he
So
just
good.
waits to
So
take off
good.
his tracksuit and get to it.
He becomes Superman.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
amazing.
Here it is. Here's
Good stuff.
I should show this on camera, but that's
Oh, my
that's the
goodness.
anime. My brother
Amazing.
sent that to me. I'll let Jared zoom in on this. And no, you don't just it's all right.
To just focus.
Okay, just focus. This is the anime version of Yusuf Dikic with because the Korean girl was obviously really cool. I don't know who the third guy is, like the rifle guy. Where
One of
is
my
he
favorites
from?
though was that he looks like he just got up that morning and said, "Sure, I'll compete."
Did you see him at
Whatever.
like 11 years ago? There's a picture of him where it's like literally 11 years ago, something like that
Yeah.
with the Olympics. Same thing, no glasses.
Yeah.
He's a lot younger.
Amazing.
The thing.
Came out of retirement, did the same thing.
The thing that makes me just the teeniest bit sad about that is that no one will ever know who won the gold medal in that event.
No, the silver though.
He got the silver.
You're right. I have no idea what
No
that
one
person
knows.
looks like, where they're from.
No one knows.
He won gold in our hearts.
Oh, unquestionably.
Certainly on the internet.
There's obviously all the memes about that the Australian break dancer girl. Have you seen it?
No.
Gosh,
I didn't see the
it was
girls.
like she was making a mockery of breakdancing because she did this kangaroo dance.
Uh-huh.
And everyone was like, wait, what are you doing? And so now there's all these copycat videos online because people are saying, well, I could do that, and they actually can.
Right.
It's
The
it's
breakdancing,
kinda
I mean, like I say, like that was just kind of, because it's also, I feel like, so subjective. But I guess that's because I don't know anything about breakdancing.
Nah, it's
Like,
tough.
are the judges really watching and saying, "Oh, that was executed
Yeah.
perfectly"?
They didn't break or dance
Because they called it freestyle. I mean, I guess it's like synchronized swimming, right? I don't understand that either.
Some of these sports don't make complete sense. I was talking to Josh Pike about this, like how with the shooting, the rifle shooters, like the announcers the whole time were basically just trying to convince people that it was a sport. You know, they were like, wow, look at how still they have to sit the whole time. You know, look at them, they must be so hot in those big leather jackets that are controlling their movements. It's like, all right, well, this is, I guess it is a sport. It requires a lot of skill, but not really that.
I did
that's
tell
fun to
Ken at
watch.
one point that the recurring dream that I have where it's either I show up for a test, a final exam that I haven't been to the class all semester,
Yes.
or I show up backstage somewhere and they're like, come on, you're on. And I'm
you
just
don't
like,
have any clothes
I
on?
don't know. No, I'm
Oh,
dressed.
that's me.
But
It's always.
I'm always like, what am I doing? And like music will start playing and I'm supposed to start singing. I don't even know what the
you're not
song
prepared.
is.
Yeah,
I'm
this
just not
happens to
prepared
me.
at all. I think we're going to add to that list that I show up at an Olympic tennis table tennis
Table tennis.
event, and I am the commentator. Because what are they talking about? I listened to and I just, you're right. They just hit the ball and the other person didn't. Point.
Is that what they say the whole time?
It also seemed like the table, there was something about, Ken and I discussed this as well, the camera angles at the Olympics, the table looked like it was about this big.
Yeah, it does look really small.
Because the basketball court also looked very small.
Very small. Well, it is a FIBA regulation court, but I think that's the
Okay.
same. That's the same length. By the way, it is another fun thing to do is go and find what the commentators are saying in a different language. Because I saw this, it was like 30 seconds of the French language broadcast of the men's basketball game, and they kept calling Steph Curry a devil, and they give it back to the devil Curry, and he puts it in. It's like just must be some kind of
But they meant it in a
slang or
nice
something.
way?
Apparently, you know, everybody seemed fine with it.
All right, something else very pressing that we must discuss,
Okay.
because who knows when I'm going to get to do this again with you. It's such a
It's difficult to know.
special opportunity. Doppelgängers.
Yes. Okay. So this got brought up yesterday,
This
and
got brought up
you get this a lot. So Johanna gets this a lot. She has a very forward-facing position as the director of communication. Obviously, she sings beautifully on Sunday mornings, very often. So all eyes are on her. Sadly, instead of focusing on the gospel, people are thinking.
Are
people are
Googling
thinking,
who was that actress
what
in
does
that movie?
girl? Who does that girl look like?
No, I
So
don't think it's
that's-
happening during the services.
Probably
I
not.
refuse to believe
Probably
that.
not. But anyway, you decided that you were going to give us a list of all of the doppelgangers through the
Yes,
years.
and there's always that moment where somebody says, "You know who you look like," and I'm like, "Oh, whatever
Yeah.
they're going to say is going to devastate me. I just know it." I can't throw out any names because that would be mean to the people that I was talking about. But anyway, so Mike Kozlowski, hi Mike, I think he
Yes.
watches, so we'll give him a shout
Yes,
out.
thank you, Mike.
Came up to me last night and told me that I looked like Barbara Bain.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I looked at each other and said, I don't know who that is.
Right.
So I looked her up.
Yeah.
Your final decision was that yes, maybe a little bit, because you actually thought she looked like my mom, who I've been
said
told my entire life that I look
well,
like.
these are two. Yeah. There was one picture I was like, oh, okay, I really see what Mike is talking about. But especially after Pastor's message yesterday with how men talk to women, I knew I was on very shaky ground. So I just kind of exited the conversation as quickly as I could.
But that made me think about the other people I've been told I look like. These are all actresses
okay.
over the years.
So you're just going to give this as food
I'm
for
just
thought?
going to give you a list. You can say yes, no, absolutely not. You wish,
I'm not.
whatever.
I have to comment?
No. I was talking about the
okay.
people.
Thank
No,
you.
I'm not going to
Thank
put you in that
you.
position.
I'm just going to sit here quietly.
Here's some others. Sandra Bullock. I'm thinking it must have been Sandra Bullock in that football movie.
Where she was a blonde?
Yes, exactly.
The Blind Side is what
Yes.
it's called.
Renee Russo. Like, this was a million years ago. I was in college. I remember somebody said, "You look like Renee Russo." Do you remember who she is? She was in that golf movie with
Yes.
Kevin Costner, whatever that was.
Is it Tin Cup?
Sure.
What is that
I
called?
think it was 10 Cup.
We think
Yeah.
it was Tin Cup. Way past even, I think, our friend Barbara Bain, Lauren Bacall.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, what?
I don't think I know
Yes,
who
you
that
do.
is.
Bogey and Bacall. Casablanca,
She's the girl in Casablanca?
right? Everybody in here.
Wow, this is fat.
So
fabulous.
dreadfully young and undereducated, fairly certain. Just this morning,
Okay.
side profile apparently, even though you said I was front facing.
Oh no.
Jennifer
Oh, no.
Aniston.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And I'm also going to assume it's because I've been working out.
Because you've been working out. Excellent.
And the guns are so big. Now,
so
here's
proud
the
of you.
last one that also has a little story behind it.
Oh, okay.
So I was singing at our church in Covington,
Naturally.
which I mentioned earlier. And a man that I've never seen before walked up to me and said, after the service, and said, "You look so much like Jessica Simpson." And I laughed and said, "Oh, are you serious?"
Oh, no.
And he was like, "Yes, you remind me so much of her.
You're
going to miss the best part, Pike." So that was how our conversation ended. I introduced myself. I was like, I haven't seen you before. It's nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. He came back the following week and walked down the aisle to become a member. It's like, Pike's getting me a look at the camera. Such a good director. Came down the aisle to become a member of the church wearing, drum roll, a Jessica Simpson concert tour t-shirt.
So this guy's obsessed with Jessica
So he
Simpson.
went on the watch list, is what I'm telling you. My husband said he introduced himself and shook his hand. Which
I
I'm sure he
imagine
probably shook his hand very
It's
hard.
a very firm handshake.
Yes.
Very, very firm handshake indeed.
Isn't that weird, though?
Extremely weird.
Oh, that was so weird.
So,
it makes me feel cringy right now.
now I just want to say, as frustrating as I know all of that is, with people constantly telling you,
I'm not frustrated by it. I just think it's interesting.
at least all of the submissions you got were very, very attractive people. Because what I have
What
got,
do you
what I get is usually somewhere between Napoleon Dynamite and that hipster llama. Like, I don't even get humans. So be encouraged. Be encouraged.
More importantly, are you a ginger or are you a blonde?
Hey.
Weigh in, people.
You
We need
guys-
to
you guys
decide this
figure that out.
definitively. It caused a huge rift in my family last Christmas.
You guys haven't fully recovered from that. As I
Somebody
understand.
just piped up out in the middle of nowhere. Well, Kirk's a ginger. And I was like, what? And then I see us on this recap. We have about the same color hair. Like, sometimes I feel like you and I could pass for...
brother, sister.
With wide age gap, yes, I get
think
it.
so.
But light hair, light eyes, anywho.
Yes.
We have been talking for literally 4 hours and haven't even talked about the sermon
Well,
yet. May
yes.
I, before we do that very quickly...
This must be how Pastor
My
thinks.
thumbnail's gonna be outrageous.
Yes.
The way
What is the limit? Is there a time limit on
I just
YouTube?
have as many thumbnail items in there.
It's just
we've
going to be
already.
a throng of people.
We're not even gonna get.
No, I did want to mention the Joseph Projects, though. The
Yes,
Joseph Project
that was
events.
yesterday. That was a big deal. Yeah.
We had one of our larger gatherings yesterday. It went really well. I was really encouraged by just
too.
the general energy in the room, the atmosphere. People seemed genuinely excited. And we want to remind you, as Pastor Mike did yesterday, you have three
There's Friday and
opportunities.
Saturday of this week, and then there's Friday and Sunday.
Okay,
of
so
the
there's
following
4.
Week. Yeah.
4 opportunities to come and hear the vision that Pastor Mac, along with the elders and the staff, are casting for the next 2 years of what we could potentially do in our ministry here at Valley Dale and beyond if we were to give above and beyond our
Normal
budgetary
Yeah.
giving. So we really do encourage you to be a part of one of those. We do provide a meal. Childcare is offered with your registration. So if you need help with that, we can help with that. Just come be a part of it. It's a lot of fun and exciting.
It was so fun. I mean, it's such a good time for this church. The Lord has blessed. The church is growing. People are giving above and beyond our budget. It's just and last night it just felt like a family reunion. We were hanging out, laughing. We got to eat together. So yeah, these are worth coming to.
There was chocolate cake. It was fabulous.
The chocolate, wow. Yeah, that really was something. I saw people like taking extra pieces of that home, which, go for it. As long as you tithe, take as much cake as you want to.
We were checking to see what their tithing status was.
Yeah,
before
that's
taking
the
the
last
cake.
thing. We just check your giving on your way in. No, that's that. We don't do that. Just joshing with you. Well, we're already over time with this, but it has been fun to talk about the Olympics. I needed that. I needed to just clear the mechanism because it had been.
Sure.
I've just been watching a lot of Olympics. It's been a lot of fun with my wife as well because we normally can't find anything on TV to watch, but we have put that on, enjoyed that with the kids. So Pastor yesterday finished up his series on Ephesians. Like he said, yes, we are aware that Ephesians has 6 chapters. The 6th chapter is going to be covered by Pastor Barry and his team of speakers as part of our midweek gatherings this fall. They're going to do the armor of God. So Pastor was just finishing up with these words to the men and women, and he had some helpful tips for how men could be better husbands in marriage. And do you want to accost me with any of the ways that the men in
just
general
in how many
failures?
ways do you think you're failing as a husband? I guess is all I was saying.
Well, my funny thing, several obviously, but the funny thing for me, because Pastor, and I know that other women had this reaction, because Pastor at one point was just like, now make sure and give your wife some gifts, but give her something useless. Don't give her a weed eater. And my wife was like, I would really like a weed eater.
I know.
I got her a new fridge. That was this thing this past year, and she was like, yes, thank you. I was like, you sure you don't want it? No, this is the thing that I want, and it's made her. I even got her a vacuum one because I got her one of those robot vacuums. She's like, you mean I don't have to vacuum anymore? So. Anyway.
That is scary territory
it
for
can
men,
be.
though. I agree, because I have had those conversations with my husband and said, no, seriously, hear what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
I want this, whatever not pretty, very useful item is.
Right.
This is something that I would really like for you to spend money on for me. One of them is like running shoes.
Yeah.
They're so expensive.
They are.
And so when I say hey, for my birthday, I really just want a new pair of running shoes. Yes, I really do. They're like $150, $200.
They are
Spend the money
expensive.
on that. But I will say, it's really nice to get just an unexpected, needless little something.
I know.
The flowers, Ken used to bring me handfuls of the Chick-fil-A mints. I don't even know if they have those anymore. They're like the angel mints.
Do they still have those, Dylan?
They do.
He says they do.
He literally, and it was so sweet to me because I knew it was probably a little embarrassing for him to grab a handful and put them in his pocket before he left. But he'd just come up and say, here you go, and I'd be like, yay, angel mints.
Yeah,
it's the little things, guys. I would agree with that. It's the little things, and it's just knowing that you're being thought about and it's being acted on.
That's really true, and you're right. It is kind of dangerous ground because you can't. That's the other thing. Like in a marital relationship, you can't just say, "Well, this is the one thing, that I will always give to her, and that and she'll be fine." It doesn't take into account that we're growing and we're changing. We're in different seasons of life. You have to pay attention. So, anything else that you wanted to accost the men about?
Oh goodness, no. I know you guys feel attacked enough. They were good points, though, and I also thought they were really practical. So I would just say, if you were there or online and weren't really paying attention, go back and listen. He had some helpful thoughts, and if you haven't listened yet, give it a listen. It's good. And what he said at the very end, what's the first act of spiritual leadership you can do for your wife and your family today? Just pray about it. What can you do today? One easy thing is call her while you're at work. Or text her.
I thought that was
thinking
sweet.
about you. Hope your day's going well. Things like that. So, just take that first step.
I try every time I try to call my wife in the morning. She's like, "I'm sorry, I can't talk right now." That's usually because she's doing homeschool with the kids. But it's just, I don't know. It made me laugh all the ways that she's unique. It made me love her even more. But but Joanna's exactly right. It was a super practical message, and we encourage you guys to go back and listen to it if you haven't already. We'll probably have some clips on there for you. I don't know. I'm just announcing that. Maybe Jared will find something worth posting. Pastor will be back in town, I think, later today. This is just a quick trip for him, and he'll be back in the pulpit this next Sunday where we're kicking off the Joseph series. I believe he's going to start somewhere around Genesis 37. And we're going to look at the life of Joseph, and we're going to see how that relates to what we're doing with the Joseph Project, because we believe that the Lord's leading us to store up some resources for the future. Schedule-wise, I think the last thing that we would say is that midweek is beginning on the 21st.
Yes.
If you're part of the choir and orchestra, you're having your first rehearsal this Wednesday night. We're going to kick off before midweek.
A lot of excitement about that in the lobby yesterday.
Really?
People were like, "You going to be at choir Wednesday?" I was like, Yes.
Yes, and we're a lot of finger guns.
There were so many finger guns.
So many finger guns.
Which we can show you how to do those if you're not familiar. We can show you that if you come to choir.
We've got finger guns. We've even got spirit fingers. All that.
Are we going to incorporate the
all that?
pocket?
All that and more.
One really quick note on behalf of
choir
my
must,
friends and coworkers,
Okay.
Kathy Compton and Don Sawyer. If you were in the second service
yes,
yesterday
good point.
and you heard Pastor Mac say to call them
Thank you,
to
Pastor.
RSVP for the
Don't
Joseph
call.
Project events, please don't do that. And there are many reasons. They're not even their events that they're planning. But if you will, go in the app or on the website, valleydale.org/events, or if either of those are not convenient for you, just call the main number and Jana will connect you with Lacey probably or someone else who can make that reservation for you.
I think Pastor, he'll say stuff like that, and I think he knows that it's wrong, but he just wants to watch us squirm. I really think that's what, last night, Jeff McGukin is in the thick of a presentation, and Pastor's there with a laser pointer.
These guys are the laser pointers.
It's too much. It's too
tempting.
And
Of
then
course, I got you across the room too. So
at
it's
the
not
very
just the
end, I'm
guys.
trying to talk with Barry, and then pow, right in my eye. So I got some.
Is your vision better today though? I was trying to do a little.
Yes, Joanna, I'm seeing.
On the
I'm
fly.
seeing perfectly right. Is this where?
LASIK surgery.
Yes, I got some on the fly LASIK. Okay, well
That
this
is literally enough. Let's go.
Yeah, this has been way too much. Thanks for joining us. Say goodbye, Joanna.
Bye. Oh my word.